What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Movie Talks, the only podcast here for all your movie news, movie reviews, and more. We are episode 73. Look out. Boy, do we
Whoa.
have a lineup for you today. We've got role play, which is not what you think. I'm not sure what you're thinking, but is not the content you're thinking. It is the brand new Amazon Prime movie, which is starring, I'm going to say her name wrong. Kaylee Kulo?
It's Quoco, I found
Quovo.
out.
There you go. That was close. That's probably the closest I've
Yeah.
ever been to a guess. And then we've got the highly anticipated solo leveling. The manhwa is one of the biggest webtoon comics, or I know they call them something else. I know people are probably going to jump to the defense of it, but I really enjoyed the source material, and we'll let you know what the anime is like. And then we've got the brand new Netflix one, which is American Nightmares, and what a story they have to tell. It is something. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it really is.
Pretty
I
crazy.
really enjoyed. Did you watch all three?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, nice.
Yep. I'm glad it
Good,
was
good.
three, but
Yeah, it's
you know,
perfect, to be honest. We'll get there later.
yeah. But before, without further ado, let's jump into it. We are still waiting for Boy and the Heron for Lawson to be able to see. Soon, I guess it'll be out on a streaming service near you. Who knows? But before that, I have just come back from the movies. We have seen Migration, which is a new Illumination film about
Oh
the
yeah.
ducks that are migrating. It
Quick
was all right.
review.
Ah, it was pretty good. Like, it was enjoyable. The kids liked it. My daughter got a little bit scared. There's a couple of scary scenes. Ran pretty generic. Like, what's it called? Storyline. There's a big bad. It sort of went into Chicken Run. You know, how, like, all of a sudden the people are capturing, and they're really well looked after chickens. They were really well looked after ducks, and then they escape, or they get captured and they are going to be butchered. And like, it was enjoyable. It ran a reasonable runtime, and yeah, like, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
But it wasn't
I've
cheap.
heard I've heard nothing good about it.
It's not bad. It's not good. It's just one of those.
Yeah, that's about what I've heard from everyone.
Yeah, you're like, here, there. It's okay.
You're there. You
Yeah.
you're awake.
Yep. Yep. But there is a Kung Fu Panda 4 coming, so I really thought they were done with three, but nope, there is
I
number
didn't realize
four.
there was three. I've
Yeah.
only seen number one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're okay. One's still the best. Four looks like it's just we need to further push this franchise. So I'm not holding my breath for it.
Right.
But
Fair enough.
it'll be what it'll be. Glenn Powell goes undercover in Richard's new romantic thriller. So Glenn Powell is the man from the smash hit, which has been being absolutely pumped, the rom-com comedy Anyone But You,
Oh,
the
that's right.
new one with Sydney Sweeney. Um,
That's the one
uh,
you watched.
yeah,
Actually,
reasonable.
last week too, but I'd already forgotten the name.
Yeah, it's a reasonable chick flick. It's one of the better ones I have seen. So yeah, I'm sure he'll get probably three movies. I reckon they'll push him for three movies, and if each of his movies don't do too well, he'll probably go back to rom-coms and see what happens. Although this one's a romantic thriller, sorry. So we'll see. We'll see.
I don't even know who he is. Glenn
Uh
Powell,
yeah, I didn't know about him until the current movie. Glenn,
supposedly in Top Gun Maverick.
yeah, yeah. But
I have no idea. Don't
mm,
know him at all.
no. But David is writing a new Jurassic World film for Universal. So,
David.
yep, David Coepel, Coep, Coep. I think it's Coep.
What?
David. So David
Spell it for me.
Koepp. He's writing a new Jurassic World film. Mm,
Okay.
mm.
Yep. Don't
Yep.
know him. Don't
Okay.
really know him. I haven't seen. I think the last Jurassic Park movie I watched was three back
Ah,
in
okay.
whatever year. I
So
haven't watched any of the reboot.
you haven't seen Chris Pratt like put his hands up to raptors. He's like,
Yeah, I've seen
no.
the memes, but
Okay.
no.
It reminds me of like Caesar Milan, where he's like, "Tss," but he didn't actually
Yeah,
like, he didn't bite him. But oh well, it's fun.
yeah,
Yeah. I can't believe Tron is still they're still trying to get Tron like stuff going. Like Tron back in the day was like revolutionary, iconic. Like this is the future of gaming stuff. But
yeah.
now it looks terrible. I mean, it
That's why I
looks
was sick in the 80s because it
yeah.
was that's what the 80s was all, like not all about, but a lot of like science fiction was coming out back then and people were like, wow, this shit's incredible. But now I don't think it holds up at all.
No, but Gillian Anderson is joining Tron as shooting gets underway. So
I didn't realize there even was a new one coming out.
no, I thought the other one flopped. I didn't know they were gonna keep pushing it.
I like Gillian Anderson. I'm surprised
Eh,
that she's bringing it into Tron, but she's
mm,
pretty good in sex education.
yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll
Mm.
see. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle video game trailer is out now, so it's going to be interesting. Apparently, there's going to be Indiana Jones first person game, so
Oh, really?
they're still pushing that franchise.
Better not be a
Uh,
shooter.
I don't know if I don't know that's going to do. I don't know
It
what it's
needs to
going
be
to be
like
like.
Uncharted, if anything,
Yeah, but it's first person. It's going to be
which is
like
weird. Yeah.
Skyrim controls in the Indiana Jones. Like Indiana Jones games have been poor. They've been.
I don't think I played a single one.
Oh, really? I don't think there's
No,
been many. I think there's been two from memory.
there's a Lego, isn't there?
Yeah, they probably. Oh, I don't know.
Wow, there's been so many.
Yeah,
There's at least 20 in this list.
yeah, right. There you go.
Yeah, I haven't played a single. Yeah, Lego Indiana Jones. There's two of them actually
Yep,
in a
interesting.
mobile game.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
No idea.
Crazy. But staying on the video game hype, there is Until Dawn, which is pretty much an interactive movie in the games, is getting a film adaptation.
Okay, that's interesting. I don't think it needs it. The whole point of it was that you're playing films. Like
Mm,
that's sort of the point of the game, so that you get to experience like old school slashes and yeah, okay. There's a movie coming. Do you
yeah,
know if it's based on the game? As in
it's
like the same story as the first game?
it is, yeah. But
Okay.
I don't know how they're gonna do the adaptation. Like if it's just straight story, then you're gonna be like, okay.
It needs to be
Like
a parody. Not
yeah.
like not comedic parody, but it needs to be satire,
Mm,
Not satire.
it's gonna be self-aware at least. It's gonna do something.
Yeah. Because the games were.
Mm,
All right. Didn't know
we'll
that was
see.
a thing. Interesting.
Yep. And then we've got Bob Marley's One Love is
Mm-hmm.
Ben Adir had a Bob station on the Barbie set exclusive image.
Say that again?
So he had a Bob station. So on the set of the Barbie, he had like a Bob station where they could just like check out his Bob Marley station. It's the weirdest
What?
art. It's the weirdest article. I
I
don't
don't
know.
even know what that means.
Yeah. No, he's,
As a Bob, does that mean he went and smoked weed?
no, he's just like
Like that's sort of what I'm getting from that.
maybe you just chill out with Bob Marley stuff.
Okay.
Mm, And do you know Adam Sandler is going to be a lonely astronaut with an alien stowaway in Netflix's
Yes.
newest Spaceman trailer?
Yeah. I did see the trailer for that.
This could be either good or
Looks,
bad.
yeah. I
Mm,
mean, he's done some decent, serious stuff.
yep,
We always reference Uncut Gems.
yep.
Um, I
And
mean, A24, of course, it's good, but
I liked Hustle, his basketball film.
I didn't watch that one, but I've heard good things.
Yep,
Yep.
yep. As long as it's not like his film for his daughter, I think we should be all right.
What was that called again?
Oh, I can't remember. It's not even
You're not
worth it.
invited to my bat mitzvah.
Yeah, that's all.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah. It
yeah,
that was really boring.
yeah. It was shocking, shocking.
Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah,
could be good. But the trailers I've seen look decent. I don't know who's doing it.
no,
Um,
don't know. Don't really care. I'll watch it. That's it. I did see the trailer for the new Inside Out 2 or whatever it is, where the all the feelings, the Pixar
Oh, yeah,
one.
that's right. There is an Inside
Yeah,
Out too. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Looks okay. I didn't
The
like the
first one
first.
was
I didn't like it.
okay. Yeah, people like when it first came out, people didn't like it, and then all of a sudden, everyone started liking it. I'm like, why do we like this now? I think it's
Mm,
shit.
mm.
The story is so dumb. Like, I get, there's messages and whatever, but there's so many plot holes, and I didn't like any of the characters. That fucking like imaginary friend thing was annoying as shit.
Yep.
Yeah, it wasn't for me.
Yeah. Well, that's it for movie news this week. Let's move on to role play. I've got a sneeze
Role
coming, but it's like
play.
right on the edge, and it's
Uh,
like it's not there, but it's making my eyes water. This one is the newest Amazon Prime. This one is
mhm.
starring Kaylee Kulo,
It's like quo, like
Quo,
status quo, quoco.
Quoco, and David. Oh,
Good luck.
hello. Oh, hello. Uh,
Oyelowo.
yeah,
Oh, I'm not actually sure. That's just phonetic.
yeah. Who knows?
Oh yeah, low wo. Oyelowo.
Oh, that's such a cool name, eh? Imagine if that's your name. That's so cool. Hello, that's so cool. It's
You
my,
didn't get it right.
yeah. It'd be
Yeah,
so good.
I've never seen him in anything before, to be honest. I don't recognize him at all, but
No,
he was okay. We'll get there, but
yeah. Yeah. So this is Emma has a wonderful husband and two kids in the suburbs of New Jersey. She also has a secret life as an assassin for hire, a secret that her husband David discovers when the couple decide to spice up their marriage with a little role play. Bum, bum, bum. So
yeah.
this is meant to be an action, a comedy, romance. I feel like the comedy is not really a thing in this. I feel
Yeah,
like
I'd call it action romance.
yeah, I don't know where the comical side was meant to come in.
No, I
No,
didn't. I don't think I laughed at all. I might have like smiled here and there, but I don't know about comedy. Like that's a
yeah,
stretch.
there was like a smirk here and there, but I don't think
Hmm.
there was once where I laughed out loud. Also, I do at one point I will bring up my messages because after this, I sent a number of messages where
Yep, you sure
I
did.
I got on a roll. So obviously, we are following Emma. Emma is pretending to her family that she is going away on business trips. I don't think it's ever like oh, it's like finance or something or other. That was like her business model where
That's her
she would,
cover.
yeah, she always
Yeah,
had to go and do like business trips away, and it could never be done over Zoom or whatever. It always had to be in person. And he was
yep.
really like, oh, okay, no worries. Like there was no, why can't you do it? Like there was no like pushing or prodding or
Yeah, it needs to be done in person. And he was like, okay. Like, I don't really understand. I'd ask more questions, not because I'm like suspicious, but just because I don't know. I like to know what my partner's work is and the day to day.
yeah.
I feel like I'd ask more questions than that, but whatever.
But I feel like that was more of a convenience writing. That was like,
Yes, of
we
course.
do
Plot
finance.
convenience.
Yeah. So Emma is a very, very famous assassin and is with a company, leaves the company, has a business partner who keeps her off the dark web, has a bounty on her head, and then obviously goes back and has to lay low. But her marriage is they're trying to look for a way to spice up their marriage because the day-to-day life is paying a toll a little bit on them, which is never really fully explored why. They were just like, oh, maybe we should spice things up. It was like more
Yeah.
it's more
Well, he buys
suggested than
her
anything.
for anniversary present, buys her like a nurse outfit. And that, she's like, oh, you're into role playing. So she's like, well, let's take it to the next level. Let's pretend we're strangers and meet at a bar.
Yeah.
Sort of goes from there.
Yeah. We one of the downfalls, I think, is we never really get to see her like be established as an assassin. Obviously, we're jumping in. She is the assassin. She's the most famous, and we don't really spend time with her like
Mm,
down well with the family. I found we didn't spend much time with her. Like, I didn't care about the family. Like, I didn't really get the emotional connection between her and the family. It was kind of
No, I didn't
like,
think she needed to have kids at all.
no,
It's easy.
yeah, like it that part felt rushed, where they were just like, oh, I'm an assassin. I've got a family. Oh,
Hmm.
let's spice it up. And then once they spice it up, that's when things kick off. Like all of a sudden, it seemed very moments of coincidence where another assassin is all of a sudden in the bar.
Bill Nye.
Yeah. And then once he comes in, I found him quite enjoyable as the
Oh, he's great.
old man. Like he was just
Oh, yeah.
interrupting.
As soon as I
Ah,
saw his name in the opening credits, I thought he was gonna have a bigger role because he was like a pretty early credited person. And same with, if you look at IMDb, he's the third credited name, but he's probably also like the third highest billed as well. Like he'd probably get paid the third most. It's Bill Nye.
yeah.
Um, yeah, he was great. And then wasn't enough of him for sure. He's my favorite character, and he didn't last long.
No, I kind of would have liked him to be the final boss. Like
I thought
that.
he was gonna be the big bad. Yeah,
Mm, mm,
I didn't like the whole because that I'm not even gonna get there, but who did become the big bad? It felt kind of like a separate movie. It felt like a sequel within itself.
mm.
Like when they went out to the, and she was stolen, whatever. Like you said earlier, it felt rushed and convenient because all of a sudden there's all these little plot points that just happen to tie together,
Yeah.
and it kind of felt like they were trying to go like a John Wick, big fucking, there's a organization that does all this bullshit and whatever, but they didn't. There wasn't enough substance to it to make it interesting.
Oh,
That part anyway.
it was better than the mother. Do you remember the Jennifer Lopez assassin
100%.
movie?
I'm talking mainly about like that whole, underworld crime syndicate thing
Oh
that
yeah.
wasn't fleshed out enough. But yes, this movie was way better than the mother.
just
I
I just
didn't hate this. I thought I was going to. I didn't hate it.
I just remembered the mother, like when you was just that we watched it. It was like, what is
Movie's
this?
god awful. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen.
But yeah, so after the interaction with Bill Nye, like it's very convenient based. And I don't mind that. Like
Hmm.
at times I felt like this was self-aware, like they were pointing almost fun at like, oh, I knew you were there. I put something in your drink. Ha ha ha. And then we do the standard like flashback of her like, you didn't know I did this. And then you see her pour like some stuff into the
Yeah,
drink. Like
right.
I don't mind it. It felt don't know if it was intentional, but it did feel like they were like at least having some fun with that part.
Yeah, I mean it suited the context of the film. Like it's meant to be, they're trying to do a comedy. There's going to be elements of like spy movie parody. So those little bits, I was like, yeah, it's fine. Like
Yeah.
it's what I expected, I guess.
I feel like this will get massively mixed reviews. I reckon people coming into this looking for like, your fun action comedy are going to be disappointed. People coming in being like,
Yeah,
oh, I want it to be like John Wick Assassin are going to be disappointed. I think,
I don't think it's ever going to be John Wick. Like, I don't think anyone's going to go into this expecting it to be John Wick level.
well, I don't know. I feel like not like that, but like the standard assassin, like the fights weren't that good. Like they didn't have the same fight choreographer and stuff.
Oh, of
Like it
course not.
wasn't there. But even even when you finally got the reveal of who the big bad was, and like seeing the what's his name, David, be questioned by the police because all of a sudden they were like, "Is this your wife?" And even the reveal
Yeah,
was like, I don't know if this is meant to be funny or if this is meant to be like what's happening, but
what, him finding out, or
yeah,
the
like
yeah,
just him finding out. It
yeah.
was awkward and like
It's my favorite part though, when he was learning everything and like going through her stuff and sort of piecing things together, and because at first he didn't believe it, of course, and then over time, you find more out and whatever. That's to me when it was strongest. Once they reunited in where were they? In Belgium?
yeah. So after he
Yeah,
finds out
Germany.
and then they need to talk because she calls him on a burner phone. He's like,
Yeah,
where are you? And she doesn't want to tell him, but then says that she's in Belgium. And then he's like, I'll be there, don't come.
Hmm.
And then that's where we kick off and the syndicate get revealed.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
after the syndicate, so like there's not super amounts of plot. It's just she's an assassin, her world gets exposed, the family
Yep.
gets drawn in, she has to sort it out. And then it it was kind of a new idea-ish, not really a new idea,
No, not at all.
whereas
It's True Lies.
is it True Lies? Or just taking
Yeah,
you?
it's True Lies, but
Dress.
gender swapped,
Okay. Right.
but
I
also bad.
didn't, I didn't pick up on that. But like the big bad took her in, trained her up, and was all of like the big bad saw her as the daughter that she wanted and trained her, wanted her
Hmm.
to come back and never leave the company. And that
Yeah,
was
right.
the big issue. And then they're in a complex, and then they have this big fight where she all of a sudden turns into like this absolute ghost in a forest, where it was like yelling. I was like, how did you
Yeah.
get a full 360? It's like,
I
whoa.
fucking I hated the scene because this is the dumbest fucking bad guy ever. She's like, I want you to take your husband into the forest and shoot him. And she's like, yeah, bet. So she goes into the forest alone with a sniper who's like ages away, only one who, can be blocked. And you can't hear, like, of course, they're going to tell you, of course, they're going to, like, if you put two people who love each other out in the middle of the fucking forest and you say, oh, I'm going to kill the other person, but don't listen to them, of course they're going to fucking talk about a plan. So it's just dumb. So anyway, that whole scene of her going out there and telling him, "Oh, I've got a plan," and she shoots him in supposedly a non-vital part of his stomach, which I guess is a thing, but I don't know. Uh, and then the sniper can't see her while she kills this other fucking woman. And at first, like, you made to believe that it's behind some trees, but there's from the sniper's perspective, it's a really fucking narrow tree. It blocks a little bit, but like as soon as you jump back to her again, she's rolling around and she's not just in one spot killing this woman. Would have been it's just dumb. Like that sort of stuff annoys me when it's you're sort of meant to forget something that you were just shown.
She was
Shit pissing me
she's
off.
she's the super assassin though. She's like the best one ever that has ever
She's
been.
not. She's not a fucking ghost.
But yeah, it I don't know. I don't know if it was intentional, but like I enjoyed majority of this film. I don't know if they were intentionally like just kind of there. Some of them seemed like they were having fun. I got into this weird when they got into the complex. I was like, how did they bundle this? Like, how do they have a roster? Like, do henchmen? This is what I sent to the boys. I was like,
Yep.
how do henchmen work? Like, how do you advertise for a henchman? Do you put it on like Facebook, like marketplace, looking for a henchman, or like seek jobs, or like what's the equivalent? How do they get paid? Are they paid in cash? Do they have a roster? Like, are they live on site? Like, they bunk them? Like, I was so confused about like how do you replenish henchmen? And it was like then even like falling on glass, like there's this big fight scene where she jumps through the glass, they're rolling around in the glass, but no one's ever affected by it. And I just wanted to know like how long it would take to like tweezer out all the bits of glass. Like that would take forever. That'd be
Hmm.
absolutely insane. How do you explain that to anybody? Like even if you know a doctor, and like if you went into a doctor's surgery
Oh,
and they were
sure.
like, yo, I need you to stitch me up and take all of this glass out. Surely there's questions. You're like, I was on a ladder and I fell through a window.
Yeah, but
Like,
the doctors they have are very well aware of their trade, I
mate,
suppose.
she killed everybody. I highly doubt she's got a doctor left.
Yeah, but they
Like,
should have a doctor. Of course, they have a doctor. Every like crime syndicate has a doctor on the payroll.
she killed everyone. Also, are they on call? Do they get an on call allowance? Like, is there a job role in the mafia that's like the person who just does the books and also the roster of the henchmen? or is there a recruiter go around and headhunt henchmen? Like, there's so many questions that I just got on a roll, which was no point at all into the movie. It was just a random thought that I happened to have in this film. Hmm.
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 Sorry, I'm like at the same time, I'll just be fucking honest. I'm still trying to get my shift off work tonight. So I'm like, I know I shouldn't be messaging. My boss just messaged me. So I'm like, at the same time, I'm trying to do that. So very sorry.
That's fair. Yeah, but like there's a number of questions that all popped up there. And all of a sudden she turned into the pretty much super powered assassin where she just pops out. There was also a random scene where I'm not sure what time it was, but in a train station, trains are still running. How there was no one there while she can strangle just this person. Like there was no one on the train.
And people did see her.
Yeah. But like no one
People got off the
moved.
train and looked at the body and were like, oh, okay, just kept walking.
Just skip that part. They're like, oh, okay. This is a standard, I don't know, Sunday afternoon. I don't know what hench or when assassins do their work.
When they do their work. They do their work 24/7, mate.
Yeah. But it was
Yeah, look,
it was
there's holes. There's
bizarre.
holes. There's always gonna be holes in this sort of shit though. Like John Wick has holes.
Hmm.
You know, that's probably the best of this kind of genre, and it still had holes. I think the romance was probably the strongest part of this. This to me was a romantic, like if I had to put the fucking genres in order, this is a romance before anything else. This is about like the biggest theme of this is like, marriage problems and dealing with, reigniting the spark and all that sort of bullshit. I feel like that was decent, and David Oyelowo did a really good job at that. I mean, Haley's fine. She just felt like the girl from Big Bang Theory, but now she's a trained assassin because acting wasn't her thing. I don't fucking know.
She never made it, so she just left Leonard to become an assassin.
Yeah.
Got a new boyfriend.
And
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
started a whole new life. Hey, it's probably the same universe. She's meant to have like all these different personas and shit. So maybe one of those personas was a fucking actress in Los Angeles or whatever.
Yeah. Well, funny enough, her like handler that keeps her off the dark web is called Raj.
Is there a character in Big Bang called Raj?
Yeah.
Right.
And he's the Indian
I'm
friend.
guessing he's the Indian guy. Right,
Yeah.
right. Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
That's interesting then. That almost seems lazy. Like, come on, there's so many different Indian names to choose from, and you choose something that she's already like. It's her biggest known thing. If anybody asks who's in it, you're gonna go, "Oh, Kelly Cuoco. Who's that? The girl from Big Bang Theory." Oh,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And yet they named the only non-American character. His name is Raj.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it. Like I said, it's like it's mind-numbing stupidity, but there was enough to keep me watching. Like I didn't feel like I was super bored for the majority anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. It wasn't boring. I'll give it that. It was nothing special, and it was just, a generic fucking action comedy romance. But
Straight to DVD release. You just pick it up like on a weekly and you're like, oh, I'll watch it.
yeah, like it's not a bad movie. It's just not a good movie.
No.
It's like it's I wouldn't recommend it to people. If someone asks me how was it, I'm not gonna say it's worth watching. But if they're like a big fan of romance, if look, if you're with your partner and you really like action movies and your partner really likes romance movies, you're probably gonna have a good enough time with this, both of you.
Yeah.
But does it do either of them particularly well? Not really. Just standard. It's like a two for me.
Okay. Yeah. I give it a 3. Like I enjoyed it.
You'd recommend it?
I had a reasonable time, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Like it was enough. Like I wasn't bored. I didn't play on my
sure.
phone until I got that random thought of like henchmen and glass. But you know,
And message me and you're like, what happens when they go through the glass? I was like, oh, they use sugar glass. It's a stage prop that you can break through and not hurt yourself. And you're like, no, you're like real life. People fighting and they go through glass. It's glass that we can suck in them. Oh Jesus, here we go. And then it was like a fucking an hour long conversation of us talking about henchmen and how henchmen gets hired. And my knowledge is only really like the mafia world. So like watching this, all my answers were irrelevant, but
I could just imagine
pretty
you
funny.
on the phone getting it and going, "Oh, here we go." It's just like,
Yeah,
yeah,
when you have
just
these rants and you have like when you put in like three paragraphs at a time, you're like, okay, here we go. It's one of Ryman's rants again.
yeah, yeah. I just at this point in time, I just start writing them down.
Nah, it's good. I
Yeah,
like it. Made me
have fun
laugh.
with them. Yeah, we'll move on to the bigger manhwa solo leveling.
Like, yeah.
All right, something that I have been very excited for, as I haven't read it all, but I've read probably quarter of the way through of a
Okay.
solo leveling. So I do have some, well, the source material knowledge. But this is in a world of gifted hunters and monsters. A weak hunter, Sung Jingwoo, gains extraordinary powers through a mysterious program, leading him to become one of the strongest hunters and conquering even the strongest dungeons. So currently there is 3 episodes out. So this is very, very new. People have been
Hmm.
super excited for it. From probably about halfway through last year, people have been absolutely hyping this up. So when that does happen, you get a little bit concerned. You're like, oh no,
Mm,
are they going to be able to do it justice? So I was
true.
I was intrigued that they went a different route and they were just like, 3 episodes. They didn't do like a big premiere for like episode one, like you extend the first episode. I was,
Oh, sure.
yeah, like one of those new episodes come out and it's like, here's a big chunk. So it's like a movie premiere, like at least it's 40 minutes or whatever. But this is just your standard runtime.
I don't
And
think of an anime that's done that though. What anime has done that?
I don't know. I feel like they've been doing it recently. I don't know. I could be getting my
I can't
wires
remember,
crossed here.
but
I'm not sure.
irrelevant.
Not
Yeah, you
sure.
messaged me and said it was the first minute was 40 minutes.
Yeah. I
Um,
don't know why I thought that. It's bizarre.
yeah. First
I
one
mean,
does feel longer because you're getting like just bombarded with information,
yeah.
but not in a way that felt like overdone or
Yeah.
painful.
So the first episode is a little bit slower than the following two, but episode one is definitely needed for the world building and the setup. So you actually
Yes.
understand what is happening. So this is setting up that all of a sudden these gates were appearing, or like dungeons, portals, whatever you want to call them. They were opening
Hmm.
up, and all of a sudden these people started to develop some magical gifts or some powers. And whatever the higher your power, you get a ranking. So like S is your top, which I've always found weird that S is top. Like even in like Devil May Cry, like that Asian sort of inspired games, why S is the top ranking, and it's not like the different sort of letters where they go like A, B, C, D, and E, but like
Yeah.
S
It's
is
always
is
been
above
like
it.
special, super.
Yeah.
Supposedly the Japanese word for exemplary is shu.
Okay. Okay.
So that's why it's also used in manga and
Ah.
stuff like that.
Okay. So that's why. So S ranking are like your elites. So these are like
Hmm.
the elite hunters who have to come in and deal with like the stronger dungeons, and then you work your way down all the way to like E rating. So like depending on how much magical power you get assigned to whatever rating, and then you're able to go into these dungeons and then get little gems or whatever you want to call them. I can't remember off the top of my head
Yeah.
what they are, but they're like the loot that a, a demon or an enemy drops, so you can exchange them for money in the real world.
Yeah. It's all without even getting to the actual plot. It's all very much like a video game where it's like you go into a dungeon, you kill the boss in the dungeon in order to close the gate, and then you leave with loot and use that loot to get bigger weapons and better weapons so you can go into more dungeons.
Yeah.
And that's,
The
yeah,
the only I guess the only difference to the video game is like once you have your power level, you don't keep increasing, but you do get
yes.
better weaponry. So like if you're
Which I found weird because, like, I mean, I know that what do they call it? Magic, not magic. They call it magic.
Mm.
their hunter class, like your skill level never increases because you can't actually get more powerful. But I still think that if you were like, if you got your magic powers or whatever and you're a 50, if you trained and got more agile and got more strong and whatever, surely you'd be a higher class hunter than you were.
Yeah, but I don't think that works for the setup of the plot. So like whether it's you're unable to wield that level of like weaponry or whatever it is, or you don't have the
Really
skills,
explain.
whatever for it. But there's only like 3 years that these have been appearing from memory.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
I feel
it's
like it's
not.
been longer than that, the way that the world had been like built around, because they have like whole news channels
Yeah,
dedicated to, but I guess
I
3 years is a long time. Look at how COVID changed us.
oh yeah, like it's massive. So that fully shaped the environment. So we are following Sun Jinwoo, who is deemed to be the weakest hunter ever. So he's an E-ranked hunter who
Yep.
even with the E-ranked hunters, he's like weaker than
Yeah.
weak. He's like the bare minimum you need to be able to get into this. Where he keeps getting hurt. The full first episode is pretty much just seeing him, seeing the world get built. You see him go into a dungeon, get hurt,
Hmm.
and then we get introduced to his comrades that he's about to go into this dungeon. And we
Yep.
set up that obviously he's doing this because his mum's ill and he needs to help his sister pay for her study as well. So he has a motive about why he's
Yeah.
keeps going
Typical
into the
motive.
dungeons. Yeah. Look, they
It's like
don't.
fucking Joey from Yu-Gi-Oh! It's my
Yeah.
sister needs eye surgery. What?
Yeah. But they don't focus on it too much. Like it wasn't like I'm doing this for my family. It was more like
Hmm.
I'm he's in there. And once he's in there, once they go into that first dungeon and we get past the world building into that second episode is where we get to see what these dungeons are really like, and they get into this what's called a second dungeon, which is this like is very very rare. People have never seen it before. They go
Hmm.
into it, and all of a sudden they are met with these ginormous statues, and I appreciate that they have not held back on the gore. So
Definitely. Very
even
necessary.
yeah, even in the source material, it's very very
Hmm.
graphic, and
Yeah.
this it doesn't hold punches. Like you're seeing people get chopped in half, you're seeing the blood splatters, you're seeing like limbs being torn.
Yeah.
Like
The
it's
scene of him being like, when he more or less dies, when he's being like just tossed around, limbs being chopped off, and there's pools of blood everywhere and stuff. A bit too much, but um, they like that was hard to watch almost, which is pretty interesting for an anime.
yeah, because you're seeing him like overcome. Like he's got a very sharp mind. He just doesn't have
Yep.
the physical abilities to go along with it.
Yep.
So no one else is well. These E-rank hunters are just like, haha, we're stronger than most E-ranked monsters, so we can just cruise through. And then all of a sudden they're met with this overbearing, super strong
Yeah. It
enemy
went from
that
a
is
D to an S.
yeah, which is all like super puzzle based. Like they've got three
Hmm.
rules that they need to work out, and like seeing the motives of each like person, I really enjoyed seeing like the selfishness to like the
Yep.
selflessness and like I need to save this person. I've got a family. I'm gonna boost
Yep.
like I really like that, and to be able to pull that off with like characters that you've only just met for a little bit, I feel like is quite difficult to do. Like you can see each of the characters' motives, why they acted in that situation.
Hmm.
They even focused on like PTSD. So like his
Definitely.
um I can't remember her name, but the healer of the group, like she is suffering from some like
Yeah.
PTSD from this traumatic event. And then after you get this really, really good dungeon scene, like that's I thought that was absolutely incredible. I
Yeah. I really liked it. Like you said, I liked that it wasn't just I need to beat this by being stronger. It was that like like D&D, there's a puzzle rather than just go in and cast a bunch of spells and kick ass. There was like a puzzle to figure out, and that puzzle was the solution. And we got to see battle of wits instead. It made everyone else feel really stupid though. Like the fact that no one else could piece things together. He was the only one, but it's fine. Like you have to give him some level up over the others. Otherwise, he
Yeah,
just would feel like everybody else.
yeah. But once we get to the climax of that dungeon scene, we are presented with uh Sung Jinwoo. He has this new found ability that only he can see, and it is dealing with him really going into the video game genre.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he's healed and he's good to go. And it's like, all right, you need to do this, otherwise there's a penalty. And if he doesn't do it and he doesn't do it, there's a massive penalty. He gets like transported to wherever. So he's dealing
Like
with
a
this,
desert.
yeah, with these massive bugs chasing him. So I'm really keen for where it's going. Obviously, I want your take on it because you're coming in fresh with no source material.
Yeah, I know nothing about this.
Like
Uh,
I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I'm annoyed that there's only three
yeah.
episodes.
I actually have to admit, as soon as episode 3 finished, I wanted to watch episode 4.
Yeah.
Like I think, um, my thing now is I don't know what the fuck's happening. Like I don't know where. To me, like it's strange, like this whole video game aspect, and that like it makes me wonder if this is a simulation sort of thing, and where does this power come from, and why only him? Was it part of the ritual and he was the one who stayed, so therefore he got the power? Did he have to nearly die in order to get it? Like I have a lot of questions, and I guess that's not a bad thing. Like if I was finishing episode 3 and had no new questions, then I wouldn't want to watch anymore. So, you know, even looking up, like I looked up a list of the characters now so I could see people's names and stuff. And, obviously I do see pictures every now and then of what he looks like later. And he looks like a completely different character. And that's cool. Like I'm excited to see his progression. I had to laugh as well that at the moment, because the way it works, for those who haven't seen it, is he does these challenges like the challenge he does every day by looks of it is like 100 push-ups, 100 sit-up, 100 burpees, and 10-kilometer run. At the end of that, he gets rewards and he gets to, out of like strength, agility, intelligence, blah, 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 he gets to spend 3 points. And so far, he's put every single point in strength. I thought of you straight away.
Yeah.
That's how you build like every RPG character ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, but yeah, it's so far there's enough to make me curious to want to watch more. I just hope that there's enough character development elsewhere, because if it's just about him leveling up, and I know it's called solo leveling, so maybe that's already in the name. But if it's just about him getting stronger, doing bigger dungeons, oh look at that, he's now a D class, he's now a C class, he's now, or if he goes straight to S, is that going to be entertaining enough? Like I have a lot of what's the word, hesitancy hesitancies. I don't know if that's the word I want. Yeah, like cautiously optimistic on where this is going to go,
Yeah.
but it's interesting enough. The action's really fucking cool. Um, the whole video game aspect is strange but interesting. I'm looping now. Yeah, it's enough. I had a pretty good time with it. Like I said, I want to watch more of it, and that obviously is a really good thing.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, I'm pumped. I'm pumped for this to unfold because there's
Hmm.
some really cool scenes coming up and some
Yeah,
moral
sweet.
moral choices and stuff. So I'm
Okay,
pumped. I'm pumped.
I hope there is, because I hope that there's some sort of like, because he's been given this power seemingly by the bad guys. So I'm hoping that there's some sort of like anti-hero, or maybe not anti-hero, but some sort of like, oh, is he going to go the dark side or the good side, or is he a bit of both? Does he do some good, do some evil? Does he become the big bad? Like, I hope there's some of that, but yeah, I hope there's more to it than just good action scenes, is all I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. What
Yeah.
would you give it then?
I don't know. It's a tough, like a four and a bit. I think there's enough to like about it so far, but it hasn't been like groundbreaking yet.
Yep.
Yeah, like a bit more than a four, but probably not quite a four and a half. Let's go like a
Okay.
four and a 4.3.
Okay. Fair. Fair.
You?
Yeah, it's 4.5. Really, really
Yeah,
enjoyed it.
I
Really
can understand that.
enjoyed it. It was just episode one was a little bit slow. I was like, I just want to get in there, get done. But like
Yeah.
for those new people, you need
But
to set that world. Like
yes,
it.
exactly. From your perspective, it's slow because you know all this.
Yeah.
But for me, it was fast because I'm like, Jesus, I'm having to learn about all this lore and all these characters. I don't know which characters are important yet. Because like you said before, which is probably a good thing. All of the I think there was 13 people, yeah, 13 people in the first dungeon, and most of them felt like characters I had to get to know. So I was trying to like pay attention to everything and like, oh, who's got backstory, who doesn't. But then in the end, none of it mattered, which is not a bad thing.
Mm.
That's quite good.
I also like there's repercussions with people like one bloke's lost an arm, and it's not like
Yeah,
just oh you're in a video game. As soon as you come out of the dungeon, you're all healed. Like
yeah.
there is consequences to what happens in there.
I thought because there's healers, quote unquote, that they could like heal limbs and all sorts, but it's good to see there actually are consequences as well.
Yeah,
And there's a limit to magic too, which is kind of nice. Obviously, she being like she was a B class, I think they said she was
yeah.
the healer. Um, obviously there's like S class healers that are fucking way better at it, but yeah, I'm curious to see where it goes. I'm really excited to see some S class fucking like we saw that one woman who who got a handbag back from a handbag stealer
Yeah.
person, thief, whatever. Um, she was pretty cool, but yeah, there's definitely word definitely potential.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Cool. Pumped. If you haven't seen it,
mm,
get on it.
sure.
All right, let's move on to our final piece, which is American Nightmare. So this is Netflix's newest doco crime miniseries. There's 3 episodes, and this is
Yep.
telling, well, recounting or retelling what the story from 2015. So after a harrowing home invasion and kidnap in 2015, a couple is accused of staging the ordeal when the woman reappears in this true crime doco series.
Yeah.
So I
It's
didn't
45
actually,
minutes each. So it's if you watch them all in a sitting, it's like less than a 2.5 hour movie.
I
Good.
didn't
It's good
know this
length.
story. I,
Me either.
I didn't know. I had seen the movie that they do reference about where like Gone Girl. So
Oh right. Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I have seen that one. So I did get the references they were making. But the whole outcome and like how there's no sort of big ramifications for some of the people is
Oh,
crazy.
it's
Like
fucked.
I haven't delved into different bits and pieces, but in the 3 episodes, each of the episodes is telling a different person's story. So episode one is telling the boyfriend's side, which I forget his name.
Aaron. Aaron
Aaron.
Quinn and Denise Huskins.
Okay. So yeah. This is the first episode focuses all around Aaron
Yeah.
and like he was at home. He was like setting up that him and Denise were together, but he was
Hmm.
also his ex-girlfriend worked in the same area. They were
Yep.
like sort of
And he was trying to get back with her and
yeah.
yeah.
So they had like a bit of back and forth. There was a bit of tension. Then he recounts like the home invasion, what happened. Obviously, a person breaks in, they have a gun pointed at them. There's a
Multiple
person,
people.
multiple people break in. There's
Yeah.
people in wetsuits. Like it's sounding real bizarre. They've got like laser
Yeah.
pointers at them. And
Yep.
then Denise is
Strobe
taken.
lights.
Like it's pretty insane
Hmm.
the whole ordeal. And then we
Yeah.
get
Denise is kidnapped. But they kept saying that she wasn't the target. They
hmm,
were trying to go for Andrea, who was Aaron's ex girlfriend, who he still worked with, ex fiance.
I'm still confused
Um,
about that.
yeah, that's something that they never actually answered, and that's kind of like that's why I love these true stories and stuff because even though you get a bunch of answers, sometimes there aren't answers. It's the same thing with the other film that these guys made, the oh fuck, the one about the guy who tricked all who fucking Tinder swindler. Same with that. At the end of that, there's still so many things that you're like, well, what happened? And you don't know because it's a fucking it's a real life story. Sometimes plot points aren't wrapped up in real life. Sorry, bit of a tangent, but that to me was great. There's a lot of
Yeah.
things like this that I really liked.
Like I wonder if we do a Google search, we'll find out the answers why. But who knows? Maybe they were never answered.
Potentially, but I think it would have told us because this show, like they very much liked to tell us all the little like, oh look at that, oh look at that. Like they pointed out all the things they could. I feel like by now there wouldn't be any more information. This was pretty recently made.
Yeah. Yeah, so obviously Denise is taken, she's kidnapped, and we get to see Aaron, like obviously calling the police, going through all the interviewing, seeing all the ordeals. Like to the police did not believe him, which is so bizarre. Like to
Yeah,
see the FBI and everyone like he's on a lie detector, and they're
yeah,
like they did the lie detector, and they're like, you completely failed the lie detector, what have you done? And seeing this man like completely break down and be
yeah.
the suspect of the kidnapping.
Well, the whole first episode, you're like one thing I'll point out now, I really like the structure of this. I think the way that they did it, every episode you sort of have a different thought of what's happened and what the truth is. The whole first episode, you firmly believe that Aaron is behind it and that Aaron killed her or got someone to kidnap her or is making up the story. And you sort of because I've watched a fuck ton. I've watched all the Forensic Files multiple times. I watched it every single. My partner and I watch it like 4 episodes of Forensic Files every single night before we go to sleep. Love that shit. True crime is a huge fucking passion of mine. All my podcasts, true crime.
Yeah.
Most of the time, the husband did it. There, you can buy shirts that says the husband did it, the boyfriend did it. It's a fucking meme in the true crime community. So you're watching this and you're believing, yeah, he did it, sure. And then the end of the first episode, actually, I should say now, if you were going to watch this now before pause this, turn us off. Thank you. We love you. Tell your friends. Uh, because this is a really fun ride. Yeah, I think for a show like this where they're just retelling an event, it's really well paced and it's really well constructed in a way. Like I said, every episode you think there's a different version of the truth. So yeah, to get to it, end of first episode, you think he did it, and then it's revealed that she comes back and she's alive. And you're like, holy shit. So he didn't do it. But
Yeah.
then the whole second episode, you sort of start to believe what the media believes and what the rest of the world believes that she and him constructed the whole thing and that it's all a big elaborate hoax, or that she just constructed it like the movie Gone Girl to try and get him to whatever, where get him in trouble or to make him fall for her or whatever. Like there's some, bunch of conspiracy as to why. But yeah, anyway, go back to where you were. But I just wanted to say how well constructed it is and how much, yeah, they've done well into making you think different things and lead you to different paths that are
Yeah.
all sort of dead ends.
I'm just shocked about how it all unfolded, and it was like
Mm,
police would not have a bar at it. They're just like, nah, you did this, you failed the lie detector, you've done this,
yeah.
it's your fault. And it's
Yep.
just this man that's like really believed in like the police system and the law. It
Yeah.
was like just being accused of it. And even seeing like the media, like for everyone who follows blindly the news, whatever's reported to them, it's insane to be
Yeah.
like, nah, like once episode two happens and you've got Denise that just reappears and you get her side of the story, and then everyone's the news and everyone's just jumping on it like, nah, this didn't
Hmm.
happen. This is a hoax.
Hmm.
Like she was getting death threats and all sorts. Like it's crazy to think that people get so invested in it. Like these people have obviously gone through such an ordeal, and you just compounding on top of to be able to like stick to your guns and just keep on going and keep like plugging along, like, no, this is what happened. You need to believe us. With like the news is against you, the police are against you. It's insane. And like her story where she had the duct tape goggles, didn't know where this person was going, and like it was highly tough to listen to when she had to also do things with the man to make sure that if she ever told the police or whatever, he was going to release the sex tapes. Like,
Yeah, because he was like, "Oh, we need to have sex, so I have some collateral,
yeah,
so that if you tell anyone, tell the police about what happened, I can release the sex tapes." Which is like a really weird. Like at that point, why would you care about sex tapes getting out if you've been kidnapped and raped?
yeah.
Um,
But
but it was
even
obviously all a ploy because he wanted to have sex with her.
yeah, even to where they were like, nah, there was no evidence of rape. It all looked consensual. Like
Yeah,
it was just that
which
whole chain of story was
I know it's so ridiculous. And it just proves that like, especially America believe the masses and they'll believe the media. And as soon as one person walks out and says it was a hoax, and they like, I also wonder if Gone Girl didn't exist, the movie, would this have been as unbelievable, or like would this have been because they kept relying on that and they're like, oh, she's seen Gone Girl, she's doing this for attention or whatever. I wonder if Gone Girl didn't exist, would they have made that connection at all?
no, because they would have been like, this is the story, and then they would have sold papers that way. Then they would have made a movie of it. But because they had the comparison, they were like, this is going to probably sell more information or more papers or whatever.
Just crazy.
Yeah.
This was like a very interesting story because most true crime is told from the perspective of the police and like going through the investigation and going through all the forensics and figuring out the truth from the police perspective, where this was all completely told from the victim perspective, to the point where the fucking kidnapper himself contacted the police and was like, she's telling the truth. Like, I took her, I kidnapped her, I I'm not sure he said that he raped her, but he's like, you need to believe her, otherwise I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah.
Which was so bizarre, but I mean it happened, so
Like I wish there was a fourth episode where we got
okay.
his like retelling of it. Like
Yeah,
I'm still confused about his motives. I'm still absolutely complex of like, why did he do this? Why did he ring and be
yeah.
like somewhere you've got a conscience of like, nah, this actually happened. Was that like a credit thing, or was that just like, I don't know.
It
It
was a
was
conscience because the same guy, there was a another story with that woman from a different county who was the one who got the police to start believing her because she had the evidence of the same guy doing other stuff elsewhere, right?
yeah,
Um, in the past, he had broken into a woman's home, like told her, "I'm sorry, I'm gonna rape you now," and she like begged for her life and whatever, and he was like, oh, "I can't do this," and he left. It's such a strange criminal because like he obviously had these urges and he had like the inclination to follow them through and commit the crime, but then once he's in the moment, sometimes he couldn't, and other times he could. And like most rapists get sexual gratification out of the aggression. Whereas he, like the second time that he raped Denise, he was like, I need you to pretend that we're in a relationship. It needs to be believable. And like that's such an unusual, like that's yeah, like you said, you're right actually, because imagine him being interviewed, especially by like a psychologist or something, where someone's really like trying to pull apart his motives and the way he was thinking throughout all these crimes.
yeah, like I'm complex of like why, and
Yeah.
you never get that. You never really get where like why or whatever. But
Mhm.
the whole third episode is all about like the conclusion of like how they worked it all out. So we've got the police woman, and like kudos to her because like she was like, nah, like this is actually happening. And she was like seemed to be the only one that believed what was happening and then pieced it all together because there was a strand of hair on the goggles and was
Yeah,
able to,
blonde hair.
yeah, was able to like link it up and then prove that it was this guy. There was
Hmm.
also a random um, phone call that apparently they were able to trace. They were like, I'm going to call at this time. And then someone, they didn't turn the phone on till like a day later or something or other. And that,
Forget that part. What was that?
so he contacted the police or the news agency and was like, I'm going to call the phone at this time.
Mm.
And the police were like, didn't turn it on or turned it to like one of the guys that was investigating the
Oh
case
yeah,
turned it to airplane mode and
yeah,
then didn't turn it on until a day later and was like, nah, you never called.
yeah. That was Aaron's phone, I think, when they had it. They had his phone in, like, when they had him not in custody but in for questioning. They had his phone or something. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
such shoddy police work. And like you said at the end, there's no ramifications for the police. Like they totally fucked up. And even though there was a payout for like 2.5 million or whatever it was for defamation, defamation isn't a, like, if there was a human, like a regular civilian who disrupted the investigation as much as the police did, they would be charged for what's the actual crime called in America? Like obstructing justice or whatever it is. And yet these police who fucking just went on their own little goose chase, and who we found out one of them was the ex-boyfriend of Andrea, Aaron's ex-fiance, so obviously had a vendetta or some relationship, a complete conflict of interest. These police, it's just so, I fucking hate America, man. Like they put police and an army and all that sort of fuck, anyone with a gun, they put on this fucking high ass level, this untouchable pedestal, and it's disgusting. I had fucking turn. Ugh, this pissed me off. Watching this whole thing pissed me off, but
Yeah.
fuck, it
One
was good.
one of them won a police of the year or something, even
Yeah,
while investigating that case or whatever. Like it
yeah,
was how I don't understand how that happens. Like you've clearly messed up.
insanity. Yeah,
Like the there was a different county police officer pieced this case and like proved it, and you were completely off the trail. You were just like, nah,
yeah,
we're gonna wrap this up, put this to bed so I can go home.
and not just off the trail, but like you completely two people with stories. Like if you interview two people and their stories like conflict each other, then sure you can start to put holes in it. But like they went through the story multiple times. It always linked up. Everything made sense, and they still didn't believe them. Or maybe they did, but they just, like you said, they just fucking didn't want to go through the process, or I don't know. It was cooked. It like I said, pissed me off. It's insane.
Yeah, it was it was insane. It was a very very crazy ride. Like the whole way
Yeah,
through, you're like, what? How can this be happening?
yeah. I was also super impressed and surprised actually that they remained together.
Yeah,
Like I don't think I ever, pardon me, I don't think I've ever seen a story like this where the two victims end up remaining together at all, especially when this was like a pretty early relationship in the first place.
yeah, stayed together. As far as we know, still together. They got two kids. Like it
Mm.
wraps up. It's just insane.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Matthew Muller was the kidnapper, by the way.
Yeah.
Like I
So
said, he's a normal looking guy, just average Joe.
yeah,
Half an hour.
even like a fifth episode. So you did fourth episode, the killer or the kidnapper, and then the fifth episode. I would love to hear the police like try and like those guys get on there and be like, "This is why we thought it was him."
Yeah, but I also don't want to. Then it gives them a voice. They don't fucking deserve a voice
Yeah, but like
because they
I
didn't do
don't
their job.
I don't think you can justify like how bad you've done it. Like
Yeah, it would have just been a meme at that
yeah,
point. Like, look at these idiots.
yeah, nuts. It's one of those
Yeah, but
stories
from
that
a like, go on,
stays with you. Even the
definitely.
one of those I don't listen to a lot of true crime stuff. The other one that like stayed with me was the doctor that was helping all the women get pregnant, and then instead of doing like different donor sperm, was using his own sperm. So he has
Oh, right.
like something like 900 children or something.
Insane. Yeah, I've heard that story. I don't know much about it, but
Yeah,
yeah, fucking hell.
similar telling of this.
Was that like a doco as well
Yeah,
about that?
it's on Netflix.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen that one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
uh,
should.
I'll send you the name if I work out what it was.
You can find it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I did see a doesn't matter, so that's the point. But even like, as much as the story was wild, from a filmmaking perspective and from a storytelling perspective, I think this is really fucking well made. As I mentioned before, they also this is the team behind Tinder Swindler. And that was another one where the whole time, like one thing about true crime, I think, is sometimes it's tough to tell a story with questions because it's facts. And this, like I said before, the way it was told, each episode you believe a completely different story, and by the end, when you do get all the facts, you're still asking questions and you're still a little unsatisfied because it's kind of bullshit.
yeah,
Not in a false way, but in like an aggravating way.
mm, crazy.
It's good. Well
What would you
made. It's well
what would you
done.
give it?
Four.
Yeah, okay,
Maybe four and a half.
okay, cool.
Yeah, somewhere around there. I'm not sure. I'll give it a solid number later, but it's good. It's well done. I'm not sure what could have been done to make it better. Like you said, another episode with Matthew Muller himself would have been very interesting, but a lot of criminals won't go on a show like this. It won't
Yeah,
speak. Like they might have asked him, but he might have said no.
yeah. Can't,
But yeah, it would
can't
have been an interesting perspective.
can't force him, I guess. But like,
Nah.
yeah, it's a four for me. Like, I still got questions. I just want to know why. Like,
Yeah,
that would be super interesting to wrap that all up. Other than that,
yeah.
yeah, it was good.
We
Check it
watched
out
some really good stuff
recently.
recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lowest reviewed thing we've watched recently is The Brother's Son.
Oh,
Everything else has been like a lot of
okay.
fours, four and above.
Mm,
Great.
yeah. Well,
Good
hopefully
shit.
in next week we can keep that up. So, as
The
usual,
animated special.
we've got the boy and the heron still on the list.
Yep.
Yep. We've got Master of the Universe, the new He-Man.
Mm,
I'm pumped for He-Man. Has been Hotel, so lots of people have been raving about this, so it is
yep.
everywhere at the moment. And
Oh yes.
the newest SpongeBob film that did get leaked and is now released, it is Saving Bikini Bottom Sandy Cheeks. So it's going to be
Yeah, I jumped
interesting.
on before and had a quick look, and the animation looks pretty nice.
Mm.
But
I'm excited to see it.
I didn't know
Uh,
this was even happening.
uh, I reckon I saw a trailer a while ago, but I haven't heard anything since. Look, I enjoy SpongeBob. I think SpongeBob's quite fun to watch. So
Yeah, it's
uh,
silly.
yeah, it is. But that's all we got time for you. All we ask for you to do is if you're on Spotify, give us a 5-star rating. And if you're on YouTube, hit us up, like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz, and tell your friends.
Tell your friends. Woo!
Boys.
Love yous.